Hello and welcome to DDOCast episode 546, recorded live on Friday, January 25th. I'm your host, Patrick. Returning to the show this week, we've got Strimtom. Welcome back.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. This week's screenshot. This is a really pretty one. Everina? There it is. Everina enjoys the snow with her new coat in the 399th screenshot of the week. Nice shot of the new cosmetic cloak there, the winter something or other and the ice crown kind of thing. Really nice.
It looks so good.
Yeah,
I'm very jealous I didn't get one.
I think she's actually wearing the cloak, the matching cloak too. You can kind of see it through the arms, but it's kind of hard to tell.
I really like this picture because the Stormhorns is such a pretty area and it has a really nice background. And actually seeing it here, it looks...
Yeah, it's really good. We like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online nearly every weekend. You can catch us through Twitch, YouTube, the DDO forums, iTunes, or from our website, DDOCast.com. DDOCast is hosted by CyberEars, the awesome podcast hosting network, and shows are usually available within a few days of recording. Next show will probably be sometime next weekend, and you can stay updated by following us on our social media pages at DDOCast on Twitter or our website, DDOCast.com. On the podcast this week, we'll have, after the news segment, we'll have part 3 of our Killing Time. Not Killing Time. Why am I saying Killing Time? We were talking about Killing Time before the raid. Or before the... Jeez. I'm awake. How are you doing? This is going really great.
Very awake. Very awake. I'm as awake as you are, so this will be a good...
Yeah. We were talking about Killing Time before we started the podcast. This, after we're done talking about the news, assuming we can manage to get through that, will be part 3 of our 2018 in review. There we go. We're getting there. And no, I'm not going to edit any of that out because I'm lazy. Anyways, we got some news to talk about and stuff like that. So, anyways, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Let's talk about game news. So we got a little bit of game news. We had a patch while we were gone. Update 41, patch 2. Like you said, it's mostly bug fixes. There's not a whole lot of crazy stuff in there. Perhaps nicest. Bard visual and sound effects no longer cause client lag and other visual stutters. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I really like a lot of the things are very non-specific, but I'm assuming it's probably like going to be very noticeable if you play Bard. You'll be like, oh, it's just so much smoother. So I like that there's those mini bug fixes every once in a while.
Yeah, it's usually kind of what's going on around this time. I can tell you that we in my guild did banish the Bard to a corner once or twice in a raid to kind of mitigate the lag in that. So let's see, animations for a bunch of Vistani knife fighter dual dagger animations now properly scale with attack speed. Great, that means you can attack faster or slower. It doesn't actually say. I'm assuming faster.
I'd assume faster. They were like, it was really bad with the cleave.
Let's see, Eldritch Knight orb saves not proper grants a spell power and no longer grants effects it was not intended to. Do you know what it was granting?
Yeah, it was granting like saves and resistances, which it wasn't supposed
to. Eldritch Knight's Mystic Wards no longer gives out unintended levels of elemental resistance. Eldritch Knight Spellsword no longer drops Dwarven Axe proficiency from dwarves when your genus changes, like when you become undead. That's kind of funny, actually.
It is. It kind of gives you like that little bit of insight into how the game is kind of put together. And you're like, oh yeah, not a dwarf, no more proficiency.
So you're saying you run an Eldritch Knight a little bit. How are you enjoying that? Take a little aside here.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I will say that overall the changes are really, really positive. It's not this kind of endgame powerhouse Reaper 10 masher, but for the early levels, you used to mostly play Wizard and Sorcerer by just like slapping on a melee weapon for level 1, 2, and 3 anyway. And now it feels a lot better. It's more tolerable. And because of the way it interacts with use your attacks, then cast spells and use your attacks, and you get so much stats from each one. Like my character had almost 400 spell power at level 2 just because you get so much universal by just comboing your attack. And with the new added spells, it's just fun. I have no idea how good it could be at the end game, but the leveling process is just fun and engaging to play. I really like it. They did a good job.
Nice. Uh, 400 spell power at level 2. That's excessive and
It's so
amazing.
excessive. You swap some of the numbers. It's 200 spell power at level 4.
Oh,
400 at level 2 would be amazing.
I told you I'm awake. Anyways, Bard hirelings received work to prevent locking up under certain combat conditions. Basically, ever since the Bard revamp, the songs revamp, Bards have kind of been breaking a little bit. Pro tip: if you don't know about Bard hirelings, you may overlook them. They're fantastic if they do things like use the skill song to boost your skills. If you're, say, a rogue and having trouble trapping, just a pro tip.
I've never used one. I didn't know that. That's actually a good idea.
I think you have to find one that has it. I don't think they like all have it necessarily. But bards are pretty good because usually you can find some that have play Inspire Courage and do some healing. So they can do a lot of fun stuff there. I'm not sure how exactly that play interacts now with the new changes to bard songs, but let's see. Killing Time raid loot can now be properly updated by the reacquire raid loot barter box. Yay. Let's see. Fix some flavor text with commas. I think there was a spelling error, a grammatical error. Armors with so-called, quote, skirt appearances no longer ignore their color data. This will update the colors of several armors, including Temple of Elemental Evil medium armors. Cool. Let's see. You can once again fireball the green slime in White Plume Mountain. Work was done to prevent erroneous red alert, dungeon alert in several quests. Yay. That's nice. This is funny. Fixed an issue that was causing twice as many monsters to appear in Epic Hard and Elite difficulty on Thrash Arena. That's Fond 1, colloquially. Oops. That'd be kind of funny. Fixed an issue that was causing multiple wave spawns to overlap in the belly of the beast. I'm assuming this is the arena fight. And I'm guessing that means that they will spawn less quickly. Kind of my assumption there.
Yeah, because as every time I've done it, it's always like all the waves just kind of pile in at the same time, and you have a million monsters on screen.
Yeah, there's waves within waves, right? Because there's the different mob types, and then you just got like all of them at once, which was kind of exciting if you were overpowered.
Even more exciting if you're not overpowered.
Yeah. Fledrin Hull in Thrill of the Hunter has more hit points. Is this the guy that's trapped at the end?
And to be honest, Thrill of the Hunt's the that's the it's the one in Evening Star, right?
It's Wayloon. It's the one at the end. It's the one at the end with the Shadow Kai that whips his chain around and he'll kill the trapped guy in the middle. But the guy in the middle at the end there is like super low hit, like he dies really fast.
Oh, that's that guy.
I think so.
That's amazing.
I'm not sure if it's that guy. Don't quote me.
Because if that's that guy, oh my god, I've tried so many times elite difficulty just trying to get this guy alive in epic, and 2 seconds in the fire he's gone.
Yeah. Anyways, several retired trophy and bounty related messages no longer appear on the quest completion command. I kind of wish they would come up with something like actually useful to do with that. It was kind of fun for a hot minute, but actually, what would probably be, if they were to bring it back, what would probably work better is if they kind of used the monster manual tech. Say, like, you go get a quest to go kill X number of hobgoblins. And when you did that, you got a bonus or something like that. That could be fun. Anyways, they no longer appear in the quest completion command, which is interesting because I didn't know that they appeared in the quest completion command in the first place.
I'd never heard of that either.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Let's see. Corrected an issue that was causing item buyback repository to not properly clean itself over time. That's important because basically what was happening is your buyback would just kind of wasn't clearing. So what they were doing is they were manually doing it during server resets. The theory, to my understanding, is kind of over the holidays when that work, the manual resets and that work was not being done. That's when a bunch of people, I don't want to say a bunch of people, a small, infinitesimally small, very few number of people got caught in the reincarnation bug where they lost all their stuff. So that's bad. So they think that's what was kind of causing the issue in the first place. And now they're, sorting through, getting everyone their stuff back and as best they can. it's a bit of a sticky wicket. Cordovan was on last show and kind of talked about it a little bit. The one thing that I've seen crop up a lot is people ask, well, don't you have data on these characters? Like, maintain data? Well, yes. But the reason why you don't have your stuff is because that data got corrupted. So they can't just go in and look at it and say, we know exactly what you're supposed to have. If they could do that, you would still have your stuff.
Yeah, they'd fix it if they could.
Well, it's not just that. Like, that list that they would look at, that's what populates your stuff. So the reason why they can't figure out what you had really easily is because that list is literally corrupted. That's the problem. At least to my understanding. Anyways. See, they also fixed an effect issue that was causing decreased game performance.
Good. That sounds positive.
Yeah. That's incredibly vague. Like, fixed a singular effect that we're not going to tell you it was causing decreased game performance.
I just want to see that in every single patch note.
Yeah.
Every patch note fixed an effect issue that was causing decreased game performance. Like, all right.
That'd be a little cheaty, but yeah, sure. Anyways, there you go. That's the release notes for the patch. So some good, like mostly bug fixy stuff, but some fun ones in there anyways. Sharn. Let's talk about Sharn briefly. It's supposed to be the next update, expansion. We did get news today. Cordovan mentioned that there will be at least one raid for Sharn. So that's news. Not shocking by any means. If they're using, just to kind of extrapolate, read between the lines, if they're planning on using Ravenloft as kind of the bar, as it were, then that would be 2 raids. Although I will note in Ravenloft that one of those raids came later.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they'll probably do something similar where they do the opening raid and then another raid 3 months later.
Which, by the way, is why Baba Lasaga's hut does not have flagging. It's because it came after the fact. So if they gave it flagging, you had to reflag. Which I don't know why that would have necessarily been a problem. But whatever. It doesn't have any flagging. It's kind of convenient that it doesn't.
It is convenient.
It's kind of inconvenient that Strahd, you have to run, 12 quests in order? Ooh. Still, it's a lot. Also, question, hey, so talking about these cogs, how are we going to travel around? I think Lindabell jumped in and said, as the designer response for layout of the cogs, can emphasize your frustration of traversal in previous wilderness areas. I'm taking some steps to avoid making the wilderness a chore to navigate. 1, there will be multiple levels with shortcuts devoid of aggressive monsters to traverse to different biomes. There'll be multiple entrances and exits to the area. And there'll be small public space for a raid entrance, I guess, within it. So there you go. So we knew there was a raid beforehand. Note the use of singular raid there. Hopefully there's more. More raids is always fun. But anyways, so there you go. Kind of gives an idea of what to expect there. The main dungeon quests will all be accessible from the Sharn public area outside of the cogs. There will be no need to run through the cogs to start them. Yeah, here's looking at you, some of those large wilderness areas. Anyways, they have other bite-sized content that will be specific to the cogs, which will require traversal. Not really clear on what that's going to be. It sounds like it's going to be some kind of like mixture of random encounters, quests, adventures, possibly something kind of along the lines of the ruins of Threnel. There we go. Have the giant cave quests out there. Maybe? I don't know. They haven't really given a whole lot to work with there. So
maybe it's something totally new we haven't seen yet, like a new idea or system.
Yeah, also a possibility. But hey, Sharn's coming. That's getting exciting.
Very excited.
Let's see. Knight's training feat. So Torque came in and said, hey, we're giving you a quick heads up on a new martial feat that we're introducing in the upcoming anniversary patch. Kind of confirmed that the next thing with the anniversary is going to be the patch, which we think is going to be kind of early February. It's called Knight's Training. So you've undergone rigorous military training with the traditional weapons of war. These weapons receive one of the following morale bonuses in your hands. For longswords, critical multiplier is increased by 1. Battle axes, critical threat range is increased by 1, increased by 2 if you have slashing improved critical. Heavy maces, morning stars, and warhammers, critical threat range is increased by 1. It requires note, it requires +4 base attack bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really early. Just saying. It's a martial feat. Fighters can use it as a bonus feat. I have not seen anything that I don't know. It seems like artificers maybe I could see having this as on their bonus feat list too.
Yeah, I don't think they'll probably add it to the Artificer feat
Maybe
list,
not.
even though there's Warhammers on there. Because Longswords, Battle Axes, Heavy Maces, Morningstars aren't really there.
It's true. I mean, it's not like they got a lot of feats that they can work with, so it's not too bad anyways. So what's going on here? Why make this feat? They want players to have more options for their melee DPS, so they're trying to equalize some weapons to be at least closer, if not equal to, the power of the Khopesh, which is ridiculously higher than everything else. Due to the way crit bonuses become rather great by epic levels, really any levels, Khopesh's superior crit numbers can make it mathematically the only one-handed choice for many builds. I would say that there's basically right now kind of 3 strong melee choices for one-hand weapons, especially if you're talking about shields, like sword and boarding. But Bastard Sword and Dwarven War Axe, you can use with glancing blows and stuff. So there's some stuff there. But yeah, Khopesh is the clear winner for damage and stuff like that.
Oh, it's head and shoulders above everything else.
I should look to see if I still have the files from when I did this. But I did a weapon calculation tutorial when I was doing a blog before I started hosting DDOCast. And it was ridiculously, I think it was like 16 or 17 posts on like how to calculate weapon damage. But one of the things I did was I calculated all the base weapon damage, and you can see that a Khopesh is just night and day above everything else.
Yeah.
Because it's 19 to 20 times 3, which is really good. Right, so what about other weapons? Depending on how this feat goes, we will likely introduce other feats or enhancements that handle other sets of weapons. Certain weapons just might not have the itemization pool to really be viable yet, so some weapons will come slower than others. That could be interesting. Just offhand, would be interested to see what they do with daggers and hand wraps and anyways, morale bonus. Will that stack? Well, morale bonus has never been used with critical threat or it says mod. That's the critical multiplier before, so it will stack with everything currently in the game. It's more a consideration for effects down the road. I'm not sure if that statement is saying that, hey, we're going to add more morale bonuses to this kind of stuff or something else, but interesting. Hey, maces, hammers, etc. aren't equal unless I go ASMR maces. Yes. So because bludgeoning damage reduction is probably the most common damage reduction due to skeletons, they've kept maces a little lower for now. That's
that
fair.
And also Pulverizer from Legendary Dreadnought makes hammers equal, and then maces become equivalent if you're also a Arscard Jesmar. So
just pointing out though that you can improve axes, and battle axes are on this list. So bring on the axes. So there could be some serious stuff going on there. Yeah.
I'm definitely excited for these changes because DDO has this major problem where like they only make so many raid weapons or like best weapons, and then everyone just uses whatever the best one is. So like it doesn't matter if there's a amazing heavy pick or a comma or a sickle or something.
Sure.
No one's gonna use it because the crit is just worse. So you can just go get a Morning Lord weapon and do it. So I think it's kind of like a band-aidy way to make everything kind of sort of equal. But weapons are kind of sort of cosmetic, really, So I like it. I think it's a good way to do it.
I think it's a good way to address the issue. You can make different feat lines. Makes sense.
Oh yeah, me too. I think it's like perfect for DDO system.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what other stuff they do with things. Right, be fun.
I don't think they're gonna touch daggers or hand wraps. I just get a sneaky suspicion.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath.
Make daggers and hand wraps better.
I'm pretty sure my assassin rogue is doing more damage with a weapon naturally than even my Khopesh fighter. So yeah, would be a little bit shocked if they did much there. Anyways, the Abishai. Let's talk about the Abishai set. What is the Abishai set, you might ask? If you've run Chronoscope, this is what we're talking about. The Chronoscope loot has the Abishai set in there. It's a 5-piece set. Back when Chronoscope came out, when I think this was still when Epic was just Epic, right? There wasn't Epic Elite or anything like that before Menace the Underdark. It was kind of the end game loot many moons ago. But it's a 5-piece set in Heroic and Epic. So basically, what they said is, this is Linabelle posting. So here's the deal. Nobody asked for this, but she's in a sharing mood, so she has some information. So first, let's talk about the Gem of Many Facets, which I kind of glossed over. Gem of Many Facets is a trinket that has like 7, 8 sets on it.
I thought it was all of them. I think it has every set ever. Just the list goes so big it comes off the screen, man. It's just too much.
Is it? I thought it was just from the
it's all
Korthos
the
and Red
sets,
Fen
yeah.
sets.
Oh, it does Red Fens too?
I believe so.
Oh, I thought it was just Korthos. Oh, jeez.
Maybe I think. Oh, you know what it is? I think the Epic one does the Epic Red Fen sets, and then the Heroic one does the Korthos sets. Something to that effect.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so.
It has a ton of sets on it, right? So until they figure out a way to redesign the Gem of Many Facets, Chronos Loot is actually off the short list of packs to kind of retool. They have a much lighter, much faster, much less lag-inducing, much easier to use set bonus system. And when they get to Chronos Loot, they really should put the Abishai and Red Fen's items on it. That being said, the new set bonus tech only supports 2 at a time. So the options are, 1, redesign the Gem of Many Facets. No idea what that would look like without destroying the soul of the item. Or delete and destroy the item properly, which completely blindsides people not on the forums. Plus, it's technically raid gear, and if it was working before, it's hard to explain why it won't work now. Or 3, leave it as it is, and they can figure out how to tackle 1 or 2, which is clearly what they're going for right now. Yeah. It's a little complicated there. Anyways, she says she'd love to take a stab at it. More items on her new set bonus system, the faster the game will run, seriously. And she's got a huge soft spot for the Abishai set herself. Which she garnered out the Epic set. So yeah, either way, it's not going to happen before Sharn, which is taking up a lot of her time. Surprise. She says, really no Ravenloft blew you away, but believe me, you ain't seen nothing yet. Well, that's encouraging. We like that.
That's very positive. I'm excited.
Yes. Anyways, she's been going through and updating a lot of older loot, particularly the Scroll Seal Shard stuff. But clearly there's some being able to only put 2 set bonuses on an item is a problem for the Gem of Many Facets. So yeah,
it's a very unique problem too. Like I don't think other items have this problem.
No, I can think of several items that have 2 set bonuses on them. Multitude of Menace, for example, has a bunch of 2 set items. But yeah, Gem of Many Facets has like a lot. So that's kind of a problem. I have no idea. Like she's right. Like, what would you do without completely destroying the soul of the item? I got no idea. Make it a different item, I guess. I don't know. Well, actually, here's a simple solution. Well, it's simple to say. Make it a thing that you can give to the quest giver, the raid giver, and say, here, please put this set bonus on it and this set bonus on it, and you get to pick your 2 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Best I got. Anyways, let's go to the community designed item. Week 2, picking a stat. So goggles 1, week 1. So now the next one is to pick a stat. Any one of the 6 will do. This was funny because a lot of people are like, well, but what's the item supposed to do? So Linabelle said that as an item designer, she usually goes slot, stat, class, effects, special sauce, which is how she ordered the polls. Based on the feedback she got, which was basically, what was it supposed to do before we get to stat? They'll probably change due to feedback, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. However, it will likely be present in both the heroic and legendary item suites of Sharn, levels 15 and 29. Hey.
Level 15, eh?
Level 15 and 29, yeah. So probably, if I had to guess, I would say we're probably looking at quest levels, and they're probably going to be several kind of level ranges.
Yeah, it could be like a Ravenloft where it's like 14, 15, 16 or something.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good guess. Or maybe even 17, 18, 19. That feels too high.
Or something radical, like low level Sharn 5, mid level Sharn 10, and high level Sharn 15.
That's pretty radical. Anyways, there you go. Looking at level items at being 15 to 29. It's kind of fun to know.
What did you vote for?
I didn't.
Mm.
But let's see. Strength text. See, here's the problem. Like, what are you gonna like? What's the effect? Like, what's it supposed to do? Right? Like, that's kind of the hard part.
See, the way I thought about it, as I was like, what do I need right now? Constitution. And what do I not need a lot of? Goggles. Just like most of the goggles are bad. So I was like, okay, cool. Con goggles solves my problem.
A lot of people went for con just because it's kind of it doesn't really matter what it's doing. If it's Constitution, it's gonna be useful.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah. I would probably say, based on, I would probably actually go Wisdom, just because a bunch of my characters are kind of having trouble fitting in Wisdom of all things. I've suddenly got a lot of wisdom needy characters, so it's might be related to falconry. Just a theory.
I just got the visions of perception from the Defiler of the Just, and like,
yeah, that upgrade was really nice. Defiler of the Just definitely won the raid loop revamp.
Except the Fell Blade, it doesn't have the +2 raid weapon damage. It's so sad, but it's so cool.
Anyways, bugs. So you may have run into this. There's an issue with persistent environmental effects. What is that? Wall of Fire would be a really easy one. When you see the little buff icon and you're getting damaged because you're in a wall of fire, and then you leave the wall of fire and it's still there, or lava. It's kind of also another one. So it's a symptom of a more serious issue, and it's one they intend to address. In the meantime, hopping back into the same lava that's stuck on you, or acid or fireball, will cleanly remove the lingering effect.
Yep.
Personal note, the place that I discovered this bug, Mark of Death. Not the best place to discover this bug.
Not the best place.
Thankfully, on a lark, I said to myself, this is awkward. I'm going to run back into this and hope it goes away. And it did. And it was... So, if you're not familiar with Mark of Death, there's a bunch of environmental effects, most of which prevent you from casting spells and hit you damage over time for like 20% of your maximum hit points. Pretty brutal if it's stuck on you. So, anyways, let's see. Bonus days through Sunday, January 27th. DDO bonus days brings you double Mysterious Remnants weekend. Get twice the chance to earn remnants from champions. So they're twice as likely to drop remnants. That's what's going on. Store news: improve your character. You get 20% off of select stat tomes and skill tomes. Tomes of Learning, Harper Agent, Enhancement Tree. Sad. Is Falconry's available a la carte now, isn't it?
Not in game. Is it? No,
for points?
I don't think so. I think you have to buy the White Plume Mountain and Adventures to get it. I'm not sure. That's how I got mine, though.
Vistani, I think, is Vistani. The only one there's 3 enhancement trees. Vistani? The only one of the 3 that's on sale is Harper Agent. Come on, guys. Anyways, also, you can get a secret door divining rod with the coupon code FINDDOOR. All that's through January 31st.
Yes, and the text, the wording on that is wrong. It's much more useful than it says. It lasts for an hour. It doesn't go away on death like it says it does, and it detects all doors. So it's very, very useful.
Is it one charge?
Yeah, it's one shot.
Okay. So I think that's the first time I've seen that one as a freebie, so that's kind of fun. So should be a nice item. Let's talk about community news. We've got 2 chronicles because I didn't get a show out last week. So the 317th chronicle. We got a shout out for D&D Kasplat. That's my D&D night on DDO stream. That was the party was assaulting an outpost. It was a lot of fun. The attack rolling was dreadful. There was a period, I think we went through like 4 rounds where the 3 frontline fighter people in melee all missed in succession. And I wasn't doing much better. It was pretty amusing. Let's see. Let's see, there's also the season's final Shroud Palooza was on Kenneth, so you can check that video out as well. The comment for a couple weeks ago: what's one item you might find in a mage's library? A spellbook.
Yeah, I was gonna say spellbook, magic wand.
Yeah, a trap.
Um,
The guild for the week.
fairy dust.
Let's talk about this. Is every once in a while you see a guild name that's just beautiful. Casual Dismemberment is a Kyber guild that accepts everyone. Send Powtan mail for a guild invite. That's such a great guild name. I love that.
It
name.
is.
That's so good.
Just rolls right off the tongue. It's good.
Yeah. See, fansite news. Here we go. DDO Players News at episode 206. They're on a weird cadence now with the Chronicle because they come out right after the Chronicle. So the next the Chronicles literally is like 6 days and 22 hours away from when they do their show now. See, Enrique has been blogging again, has a blog about a fun little trinket. We got a shout out for DDOCast. The second part of our 2018 review, Brighter Days Ahead, had an episode. Fridio, Brock and Friends, Baklagor, Doug Glendower, and Alex and Lynn all had episodes as well as the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream. See, the 318th Chronicle had, see, the highlights here are the episode number 5 of bonus D&D night, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, with the hashtag Waterdeep Dwarves, minus the one drow, who apparently was powerless, is now available. You can watch the heroes try and rescue a kitty from a mansion full of gazers. That doesn't sound like it could go bad in any way, shape, or form.
It sounds only good.
Let's see. Highlight Reserve, we're hosting tomorrow we'll be hosting Riding the Storm Out teaching raid, Saturday, January 26th. Have fun. It's a lot of fun. I have mixed feelings about that raid still. I like most of that raid, but the lightning's a little excessive. Clerical comment. How would you free yourself from a block of ice?
I'd eat my way out.
Eat? That's a choice.
Yeah, why not?
Well,
I'm Canadian, so
teeth?
ice to us is very easy. It's just a natural food source. It's very
being frozen in ice is a Tuesday.
Oh, literally Tuesday. It was minus 30. Come swim in the water. It's nice and warm and hard, but
yeah, don't dive into that water. Well, let's say, a fire spell seems like it'd be too easy, or a fire shield or something like that. But how about those abilities that let you like tumble through things?
Yeah, phase out.
Yeah. Let's see, or dimension door, teleport, one of those. Although there's, if you're frozen in the block of ice, being able to cast a spell would be kind of tricky. So, let's see, the guild.
Unless you have still spell.
Let's see, the guild for the week. Blood Covenant is a friendly mid-sized guild in Argonesson. They only ask you to be respectful to others and have fun. You can contact Silthcon, Kilfor, or Melik in-game if you'd like to join. Fansite news for this week. Damsels of DDO, who will be recording, if you're listening to this live, you can listen to the Damsels live not too long after this is over. I think they're doing their podcast now at 11 p.m. Eastern on every other Friday, but it's opposite. It's the other, so they're playing like on a Saturday, and then the next Friday they do the podcast now instead of doing it back-to-back nights. Something like that. Let's see. Enrique had a blog post asking who was Commander Erulf. It's a knoll out in Menectrin. Mickey's Delirium had a blog post about raids week 106. SIP had a new post when the Pirates upped their game. See Doug Glendower for Bard Life. Bakalagor, Brock and Friends, Brighter Days Ahead, Streaming with Even, and D&D Night all had episodes as well. D&D Night this week was the Sunlit Citadel. That's Even Notes group. And then, let's see, other blogs. BioBreak also, that's SIP, also wrote about that are kind of a big deal. So that's the big deal. They ran kind of a big deal. It's a fun quest. Those quests with White Plume Mountain are all kind of fun. It's nice little themes, shall we say. Let's see, D&D night on DDO stream. This week is, assuming we are efficient and don't die, this is going to be the conclusion of rescuing Saba Jade with Evil Beaker and myself as a player. D&D night is every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/DDO stream. It's been a lot of fun. We've been doing it for pretty solid now since I think we really kicked it off in November. Was it October? I can't even remember anymore. We've got a bunch of different groups going, and we're really kind of phasing through different groups right now. Evil Beaker's kind of phasing out for the Sunday nights. He's still doing his bonus night, but we got a couple other people kind of phasing in. I'm still hogging the second weekend of the month, so you can catch my group on the second Sunday. We're trying to have a variety, so we have one group that's going long term, so you can have like a long invested campaign, but some other groups are kind of coming in and out, kind of stuff. Variety, that's kind of what we're going for. Except it's D&D night on DDO stream, sponsored by Fantasy Grounds, which we're really thankful for what they did for us to make this happen. And it's been a lot of fun, and I know people have been really enjoying it. So if you haven't seen the episodes, I recommend them. They are long. Sorry. 3 to 4 hours. So
yeah, I've been following along. They're pretty fun. I agree.
And I've all the ones that I've DM'd, like there's been like if I went someday, I'll probably go back and like pull out like little snippets, just kind of as like a highlight reel, and I already know for every episode which one those would be. There's been a really highlight moment every show done, one that we've that my group's done. But yeah, so there's a lot of options, a lot of different groups. Follow one, follow them all, have fun. But we're having a blast doing it, and really happy that we get to do it. Again, D&D night on DDO stream, sponsored by Fantasy Grounds. Twitch.tv/DDO stream, 7 p.m. Sundays, every Sunday. DDOCast Splat is on Tuesdays, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We actually completed a quest on Seven Skulls Reaper, so yay! And we only died about 30 times. But we ran Age of Rage, the first couple quests of Age of Rage, which it's funny how they're quite a bit easier, even with a couple more skulls, than a lot of the other early quests that were in kind of that level range. So. All right. Lightning Post. Fuzzy Duck 81 wrote in. Said it. So this was referring to the rose-tinted goggles, getting their sentient XP value reduced. Said it's a shame, but tend to think of little oversights like this as an early adopter bonus. As a basis comparison, though, with another essentially guaranteed loot item, even with only 10 XP each, it's still considerably less effort to get them than the cheapest Evening Star Commendation gear, which only gives 20 XP a pop. Sure. For Sharn, if they go for a weapon with the pick type, it's got the standardized effects approach. I'd like to nominate Adamantine and Everbright effects for it. It's City of Cogs. That suggests a lot of machinery, maybe rogue constructs, and those cogs might be subject to corrosion from oozes too. So given a tool that can deal with both threats would be both thematic and make for a handy secondary weapon for pretty much everyone. Yeah. This is when we're talking the idea that in Ravenloft, there were 2 sets of weapons for every weapon. So I would not be surprised if they gave us a weapon for Sharn.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's a really easy way for them to say, here, thank you for buying the expansion. Here's a weapon that actually will be good in case you're brand new to the game.
I like it. I hope that they do something that's slightly more customizable, potentially. Like the pick a type, get a standardized effect. Because I liked Ravenloft, how it was just like, okay, you get the Morning Lord or the Night Mothers or whatever one, and it was kind of cool. Unless you were a spellcaster, and then you pick the Scepter. And then you're like, I'm an Eldritch Knight or a Druid or something. And you're like,
You want the Cassie stuff on a couple different weapons?
I want it on my longsword with that new Knight's training feat or whatever.
Fair. That's fair. Actually, yeah, that'd be kind of a nice. Let's create a weapon, right? Create a community item. How about a weapon for the casters, like a viable Knight's training great weapon for Eldritch Knight? Yeah, that's a great idea. I like it.
Good idea.
Let's see. Hey, Lenabelle, if you're listening, hint. Let's see. Says that Fuzzy Duck continues, says, love White Poo Mountain and the other quests from that pack are really fun too. It's nice to get a few more lower level quests from time to time. And there's some sweet loot that can be great for lobies too. Yeah. The two-handed ooze beater, 3 per rest shield clicky, and a couple metalline weapons. Yeah, shield clickies are a lot harder to find these days, so yeah.
Not anymore. That one's amazing.
Yeah. Falconry Tree has really grown on me now that I've experimented some more. If you want to play a melee cleric but don't like the War Peace Tree, which is a lot of people, or a melee druid but not use animal forms, which I still kind of say why, but have at it.
Yeah, I agree. Why? What are you doing?
It's particularly nice and lets you keep your spell DCs relatively effective too. Loving the cosmetic cloaks. Whenever it pulls a new one, it'll make a point of checking out its look rather than just selling it straight off. Probably his overall favorite so far is the Fjarland Mirror Cloak. I don't know if I've looked at that one.
I don't like it.
Fair enough. It's incredibly simple and elegant, and it goes particularly well with the Celebration armor and Docent. Also says like that Wood Elf was added. Here's hoping Dorgar will be added for dwarves in the same way. Aren't they kind of more of a separate race though?
They are very different. They're more like Drow.
Yeah, it's kind of
with the spell resistance.
They're very, very different. Not that I wouldn't like to see Dorgar added, but I think that might be. I think that seems like the wrong subrace for dwarf. Like you'd get a different kind of. There's other subraces I think you would see that are more subraces as opposed to a completely different race, which kind of what Dorgar feels more like. But
yeah, it feels more like it.
I would like to see more subraces though. I think Wood Elf was really a really cool thing. It would be kind of fun to see more. If for no other reason than here's a new race that you can play with, new build options, but don't worry about more racial reincarnations to keep your racial completionist. But
yeah, I really like Wood Elf. I think that like it's weird that I was looking at it like this doesn't seem better than regular elf. It just seems different, and that's cool. Also, they have way better hair, so the hair looks so good.
I think that's what I made my hashtag hair flip character was a Wood Elf.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch a couple Damsels episodes ago when Drac and I crashed with Lessa and Myth. A lot of fun. Anyways, let's close out the show. Hey, you want to talk about your stream and what you're doing?
Yeah. So you can catch me. I'm usually streaming every single Monday from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and I range anywhere from doing leveling, showing tips, different types of character builds, and I also make sure I'm posting all my builds in the forums now in full builds so you can read everything. Or I'm doing repretend stuff with my guild sometimes. I'm currently running an experiment where I am doing every single quest in the entire game, recording all of my data, time to do it, exact amount of experience I get, and recording the XP ratio, so I can create a very scientific guide as to what quests you should be doing and in what order to go from cap, because I'm just curious and I want to see if I can make it more efficient. And there's
what difficulty are you doing?
I'm doing everything on Reaper 1 if it's available, or Elite difficulty.
Gotcha.
If Reaper 1 is not available. So whatever is the hardest. And so far it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it, and the data has shown me quests I really shouldn't be doing, like
Proof is the Poison
Outpost. Yeah, Stormcleave Outpost is terrible. Proof in the Poison is terrible. Surprisingly, the best quest chain to do for level 3, Catacombs. They're the best.
Yeah.
Didn't think that. I hate those quests, but apparently they're the best for your time. So
yeah, they're really short. So
yeah. And for those of you that really like watching Strimtom, I'm not here next Monday because I'm in Florida for work, so I won't be there. But you can catch me the following week, so I am gone.
Pro tip: since you're talking about how it's like -30, bring shorts because you're gonna melt.
The last time I went to Florida, it was so stupid. I'm like this Canadian, and I get off the plane with my big jacket, and then all of a sudden I see people in shorts and t-shirts. It's 23 degrees in the terminal. There's palm trees outside. I'm like, what is happening?
That's 23 degrees Celsius, I'm assuming.
Celsius, yeah. I'm not good with the freedom degrees. I think that's like 75 freedom.
Fahrenheit, you mean?
Well, it's freedom degrees in Canadian degrees. That's how I think about it.
I see. Anyways, off of that tangent, thanks for listening to the show. Thanks to Strimtom for joining me today, and thanks to all the guests for DDOCast who really make this show happen and help me out with it. It's a lot of great people helping with the show. Thanks to Sandy Stone Games and to Wizards of the Coast as well, and to Cyber for hosting the podcast. If you'd like to support the show, you can visit our website, DDOCast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. If you have a DDO-themed webpage or a Twitch DDO and you'd like to be featured on our website, you can email me at ddocast@gmail.com. Don't forget to hit us up for our show notes, MP3s, our calendar, previous shows, and other fun stuff all on our website, DDOcast.com. If you'd like to be a part of the show, if you have a comment on this episode, a question you'd like to hear us answer, a topic you'd like to hear us discuss, or you just want to say hi, you can leave a comment or you can email us at ddocast@gmail.com, especially topics. I've got a list, but it's always fun to kind of get feedback from the listeners and what you'd like us to be talking about. Especially since we gotta do another topic because this was the last one, which will be coming up shortly. 2018 review part 3. You can also find us on social media. Follow us latest cast updates at DDOcast on Twitter. Do you want to give out your Twitter handle?
Yeah, it's Strimtom. I'm Strimtom on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Everywhere. Type into Google, you'll get all of me.
There you go. All right, so stay tuned for part 3 of our 2018 in review. All right, we are back talking about the year 2018 in review for DDO. This is part 3 of our section here. So we've got a big group of guests here. I always like to pack this show in. So we've got Voodoo.
Hey, everyone.
Nimvind.
Merry Nimbus.
And Terrelin, all from the High Lords of Mug here. Say hello and unmute your mic this time, Terrelin.
Is it muted?
I don't know. Didn't catch you. Anyways, we've also got Hephaestus.
Ahoy, everyone. Hey.
And Arcot.
Good afternoon now.
Yeah, so we've got a big group here. So we're talking about keep trying to say update. We're talking about 2018. We've talked about update 38, 39, 40, and a little bit about Ravenloft, even though it didn't come out in 2018. But it's the end of 2017, so it had a big impact. Now we're going to talk about update 41. This is the newest update. It came out about a month ago. This is the Corvair shipment. We got one quest, Lost at Sea. And we were talking earlier about, there's a lot of quests that have been coming out, right? We had a couple packs with 5 and an expansion in the middle of that. So what? An expansion and 3 updates. We got almost 30 quests and raids. And then now we've only gotten one quest, one raid in the last 2 updates. So it's slowed down a little bit. But still, for the year, we've got a lot of quests that came out this year.
I believe it slowed down because they were saying that the majority of their team was focusing on Sharn expansion.
Yeah.
Shh, that's this year.
Which, hopefully we'll be getting that in a couple months. I'm kind of getting the sense that might be as big, if not bigger, than Ravenloft. So it makes a little bit of sense there. I also don't think that they had... It kind of felt to me like Ravenloft, they were working on that for a lot longer than they had in the previous expansion. So that, they've been working on it for like a year or more. I don't get the same sense that they're spending as much length of time working on Sharn. It may still be the same man hours, but I don't think it's spread out as much time there. So, but we got Lost at Sea for update 41, the Bard Song Pass, Eldritch Knight Pass, Spell Pass, the Raid Loot Pass, and we also got Random Orbs, which drop surprisingly frequently.
Too frequently,
yeah.
might say.
Yeah,
It still surprises me. I'm like, oh, hey, an orb. Oh, wait, no.
It's just random.
I
loot
love
now,
them.
so.
I love them. I was able to find one with a red slot on the first day and craft it for my
Wow.
bar
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen that red slot orbs are really popular. I haven't exactly figured out why, but cool. I mean, I know why the red slot is popular. I just haven't figured out what people are crafting on orbs. But I don't play casters as much these days anymore. So
typically, I put spell power, I put a lore, and then I'll throw another spell power augment into red.
Good way to do it. Let's talk about Lost at Sea, which potentially is Arcot's favorite quest this year. Speaking about bones being thrown to players.
Yeah. Lost at Sea Lost at Sea is an extension of it's another quest preparing us for Sharn, I think. So I'm glad of that, and of course the commas. I like to seeing the commas in the quest, and but the really the cool things are those bracers are definitely very cool,
and the ring.
Yeah, and the ring's pretty good too.
I like the mechanics of the quest. It's a lot more immersive than the other quest that uses that underwater combat thing into the deep.
Oh, I want to make a water joke, but I won't.
And some of the packages you find underwater, I'm not going to spoil them in case you haven't played it yet. It is still fairly new, but some of them are hilarious.
Yeah, it felt like a really solid, just kind of fit into the world of DDO, right? It's a little bit of a standalone, but it's also kind of preparing us for another, what's coming. It's nice and short if you want it to be. It looks pretty nice. The areas that even the underwater area feels a lot nicer than Into the Deep does.
Oh yeah,
a lot nicer.
For sure.
Underwater combat is still not my favorite mechanic in the world, but it's not I'm not a big part of this quest either, so like I kind of appreciate that as well. So, solid addition, I think. Let's talk about bard songs, which was a huge functional change for bards. I think for me, I kind of like it. There may be some kind of lag problems with the ballads. Is ballad or aria? I can't remember which one they went.
Ballad is the constant AoE.
Yeah, it was aria, and then they changed it to ballad. There might be some performance issues with that, but personally, I kind of like the changes. You sing a little bit more up front, but I feel like I sing less throughout the quest, so that's kind of nice.
There are two things about the ballad that kind of irk me, and they may be causing the lag. One is that GH is a part of it. The other is that Inspire Excellence is a part of it. And way back when, there used to be a bug where anytime you would change your UMD score, the game would lag out, like, badly.
Yeah, if you're changing, that could be a good cause of it, right? If you're changing everyone's skills, all of everyone's skills, that can have a lot of ramifications, especially when you start talking about things like changing your spell power and all that stuff. So I need to tweak that a little bit.
That said, I do love it.
We did a run with a spell singer spec and a war chanter spec, and they complement each other amazingly, because a lot of the ballad additions and the war chanter, a lot of them are on the top tier, so you can't really do top tier war chanter and top tier spell singer at the same time. It almost feels like having both in a squad. You get this amazing group of really nice musical bonuses. It's kind of sad that you can't just have one bard that can just do it all, but I really enjoy it. I really like all of it. It feels like, those war chanters that just want to, do quick buffs and go. They don't really have to do that many songs if the spell singers are around, because the spell singer songs are way more powerful than a war chanter song. But the ballads on a war chanter is way nicer than the spell singers.
Sure.
That was amazing. Nimbin is talking about what he and Terrelin did last life, and the three of us group together all the time. And last life was one of really standout lives for me ever since Racial Reincarnation came out. It was just really amazing having both of those bards in the party doing their own thing, and just it really synergized, and really it just smelled like felt like we were smoking content
Smell like
easier than ever.
That is true. Nim on his war swash build, and me on my spell singer with a war chanter splash. That was just amazing.
Yeah, bards are a lot of fun. You can do a lot of different things with them.
Yeah, I had a guildie do kind of a similar thing, except I think it was more spell singer, and he dipped into war chanter. He was pure support. And he's like, can't do anything this life half, but I can boost everyone up. So I'm like, yep, that's fine. The Babas and Strahds and KTs we did together, much smoother, much more fun.
That's why I built mine into a DC build with enchantment and evocation. I always got something to do, even if I'm just screaming at them.
Oh, he could heal, but
Yeah, healing can be important.
Heals.
It's be a big thing. Wait, we also got the Eldritch Knight pass, which I haven't seen impact a lot of players, but we have seen a few players kind of roll out with Eldritch Knight. Has anyone really played with it very much?
I'm about to play with it.
Me too, yeah. And same guildie actually played a really terrifying EK. That Tempest ability they get is way too powerful, I think, for a caster.
That's the one the knockdown one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Knockdown with the +5 weapon and the crit multiplier, all that nonsense.
Yeah, there's a lot of goodness in the EK tree. When I played through it, I did like a splash mix build. I do see it being better as a peer. Like there's, because that 18 core boosts up your damage die. The cap, could also boost up your damage. But my focus was getting that level 12 core, because that's when you get like deflect missiles. And I didn't know how amazing deflect missiles was until the last 6 lives. It adds a whole new layer of defenses, which is really nice in Reaper, when you can just you can dodge attacks and ignore a missile attack once in a while. It's really nice. The knockdown effect, really nice when you just want to charge into a group of R10 mobs and you want to live for 2 seconds longer. It's a really nice tree. I just didn't do well with it.
As soon as my main melee caster gets her pale lavender, I'm going to reincarnate it into it and try it out. But I will say, from what I'm seeing so far, the wizard version is just lights out better, and that's partially due to the fact that the harpistry exists. It's a lot easier to be a DPS melee and a caster between that and the feats. I'm still trying to wrap my head around getting a Sork version to work.
Sure. We did have someone in our guild do a Sork version. I think he might have been a Purple Dragon Knight to use Charisma, but I'm not positive on that.
Yeah,
but he was
I'd rather
doing
have
some damage.
I'd rather have the self-healing from Warforged, and thematically the character's just built to be a Warforged anyway.
Yeah, that just fits. All right, the last thing with Update 41 is we got the spell pass. So we got some new spells for the different elements at level 1 and at level 9, and kind of tweaked all the damage stuff in there. I think I've actually yet to see anyone cast any of the new spells. Actually, now that I think about it, don't play with a lot of sorcerers, and
they're really cool looking.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah,
I really like the graphics for the new spells. I mean, it's adding some nice new flavor. Good looking spells. I'm really happy that they added this.
Mm-hmm.
The acid and electric ones were really needed because both are kind of underrepresented at higher levels.
Yeah.
Fire always had Meteor Swarm, and Cold didn't really need the help because you had Polar Ray.
Yeah, they got some help anyways, though. So.
And the first level ones, were really nice to have a low level range elemental attack besides magic.
which isn't really even an elemental, right? It's force damage,
It's
but
force, yeah.
so.
Definitely better than Nyax as a ranged option, and otherwise all you got is touch.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they give one of those new spells to the Arcanotechnician tree, because Nelsorks are doing great, but I wouldn't mind an extra spell to sling in there.
Sure. All right, so we got a couple miscellaneous things that I didn't.
Oh wait, don't pass up Threads of Fate. I don't think we talked about that.
My apologies. Yes,
Oh,
the Raid Loot Pass.
This stands out as a major highlight for the year for me.
Sure.
I love this implementation. I love the fact that they went back and revamped. We love to raid in High Lords. I love to raid. I love the fact that they went back and revamped some of the raid loot that was in dire need of it. Like Defiler of the Just loot that when it came out was best in show, and then a year later they came out with the new Kenneth crafting system, and all of a sudden most of that loot was like awful. But Threads of Fate having a new end game raid loot system adds a new layer of reward system for people who like to raid, and it re-energizes the interest in some of the older raids because this is not just doesn't apply just to legendary raids, but the higher end epic raids like Mark of Death, like Defiler of the Just, for example. So really happy that it includes not just legendaries, but some of the higher end epics too.
Point of order: those are technically legendary raids because they have their level is 30 or higher.
Yeah,
you don't need legendary bypass timers. But the only raids that got touched with this were legendary in the sense that their level range is 30 or higher.
Okay.
But the tier ones, so Defiler of the Just, Mark of Death, and the Thunder Peak raids use regular bypass timers, not legendary bypass timers.
Really excited about the loot that was added. That we got the +3 and +4, PRR and MRR and spell power and melee power tomes. Really excited about these new dual filigrees. Really cool.
Oh yeah.
+2 stat filigrees. A filigree that gives +20 healing amplification. There's a cosmetic there, so I really like the list as it has started. So, and hopefully, like they say, they're going to add more to it. So, like I said, the Thread of Fate system, this is a big highlight for me for the entire year.
Absolutely.
The understated bit of it to me is due to shifting more raids over to the rune system from the 20th completion, it re-energizes TRing a bit also, especially
Great point.
Going all the way down. You can just farm on your alts while your main is in TR lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's definitely something to be said about like changing the level ranges on some of the loot, making it usable earlier on, which I think is a big deal, right? Because that makes that loot more usable, especially when you're talking about doing a lot of reincarnating and stuff like that. So,
yeah, if you can throw high quality loot on at level 26, which is fairly underrepresented with the newer.
Yeah.
I want to give a pro tip here, because I think that a lot of people aren't going to be aware of this one. Now, I was pretty salty that they upgraded or updated a lot of the stats, and pretty much everything got a boost when they redid this loot. But the Intimidate on the Circle of Malevolence went down to 22. I was really salty about that.
Ooh.
But here's the pro tip: if you have the old version that has +25 to Intimidate, if you update it to the new version with the Threads of Fate, it keeps the +25 Intimidate. So it's like a super duper version of the new version if you had the old version.
I haven't even looked at the new versions. There's a lot of them, to be honest.
It's quite a pro tip. Wow.
Yeah. Good to know. Definitely.
Yeah.
The new version.
It's the highest Intimidate item in the game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's an important point for those of us that like to intimidate.
The new versions of the Hound of Zoriat and Tempest Spine armors are just as good as maybe even better in some ways than the armors that you get from Ravenloft. They're just outstanding. I think they did a hell of a good job with updating the equipment.
If you don't need one of the set bonuses, I'm looking at you, Silent Avenger, then absolutely they blow them out of the water now. One less sheltering, but it's also magical, so you ain't gotta find a different piece of gear to cover that.
Right.
It's
Right.
good altogether.
The max dex bonus is also way better, if I remember right, in those, which I was real disappointed about with Ravenloft armors when they came out.
We have to spend a little time at the looking at the list because they didn't really populate a list other than in the game, so I haven't really looked at a lot of the gear swaps that you can do. But yeah, there's a lot of really nice loot out there now. I think I feel like Defiler the Just probably got the best kind of the best upgrade of the loot out of all of them. But the other nice thing that came out of this too, Phlogiston's being bound to account.
Yes.
And there actually being a drop rate in the Fire and Thunder Peaks and Temple of Deathworm now, as opposed to them being very, not just those, but the named items being very, very, very rare. So that's nice to see some boost in that. All right.
Well, real quick, Patrick.
Yes.
That belt, I think the belt of braided beards, I think it only had one charge of teleport before. Pretty sure. It's got 3 now.
It's always had 3.
Oh, it always had 3? Okay. Well, even still, the intelligence went up, and I'm definitely going to probably use that now. It's great for 26. Yeah.
Another tip for viewers of Mark of Death and Fire on Thunder Peak in terms of time investment, those are your quick farms for Threads of Fate.
All right. So now we can, I think, move into kind of some miscellaneous stuff that I pulled out, but didn't put in specific updates. Because we had a lot of kind of cleanup or quality of life things that they changed. So they changed how feats get organized, changed how skills get organized, we changed how your characters on your load-in screen get organized, which are all kind of cosmetic-y things. But what do you guys think about kind of that restructuring, reorganizing stuff?
It took a while to get used to the feat reordering, but I like the skill reorder.
Yeah, I'll ditto that. The feat reordering and how they organize them under sub tabs is, you need to figure out which sub tab all the single weapon fighting feats are now. It does take some getting used to, but the skill reorganization or the reordering of them is outstanding.
I like how there's some feats that don't fit, and like I'll go through all the tabs, and then it's just like uncanny dodges like out there and no I'm like, what? And then like I'll go to like the martial tab, and then there's a combat one. I'm like, okay, so which one is my I'm confused. But besides that, I like that I don't have to populate a long list of feats and scroll down now.
Yeah, I'm still lost trying to find my feats, but I'm not disparaging the reorganization, and just speaking in general to all of the quality of life improvements and updating of older gear. I think it's awesome. It feels like they're very methodically just moving through, one at a time, cleaning up some old things. And I think that's wonderful. I'm really impressed that it seems like with every update we're getting like an old loot pack that is updated, and I'm really, really waiting for heroic Vision of Destruction or heroic Hound of Zoriat and Vision of Destruction to happen. I hope that happens.
Yeah,
cool.
that's something that I would like to, like I mentioned, I think a long time ago in the beginning of this, is that the team in SSG right now is doing so good. This has been hugely productive. Big kudos to you guys, Cordovan and the rest of the team. You guys are doing amazing with making things easier accessible, just doing stuff that could have been put off in the back burner, like, oh, tiers and collectibles. Yeah, that's a minor thing. Like, no, they're like, we're gonna update this old gear, we're gonna give you new gear, we're gonna give you good content, we're gonna fix this. They're fixing things. It's phenomenal. You guys are doing great. If you're watching, if you're hearing, I appreciate y'all and SSG so much for the work you've been doing DDO this year or the last year.
Absolutely, and I got to give a shout out to Linabelle, who's probably the most visible of the devs now. Now that she is a
Absolutely.
dev, I like the female representation there. That is very nice, but also she is getting a lot of work done.
Yep.
Well, it's really apparent why they, why they kept her on as an intern for more than one summer, and the fact that they hired her, she really deserved to be hired, and and I really enjoy her level of interaction on the forums over the last year. It's just been really, really good to see how much she's addressing the fan base, the player base.
Definitely. That's not to disparage the other people who work behind the scenes and are maybe less visible. They're every bit as important, but that community engagement helps a lot.
The other thing I wanted to mention that we didn't talk about is the combat log cleanup, where we got they took a bunch of stuff out of the combat log.
Oh yeah.
Which
Your
seems
Freudian
like
slip was so appropriate.
but that was a kind of a nice, taking a bunch of stuff out that no one really needs to see in the combat log. It's kind of a nice little touch, I think. So, anything we missed? Anything people want to mention before we kind of wrap it up here?
More low-level loot revamps, please. I know they started on one a few years ago, back during the early days of the WB regime, but it got quickly set aside. I'd love to especially see stuff like the missing chain and stuff have its loot updated to modern standard.
Chronoscope. Oh my gosh, if they can update Chronoscope to modern standard, I would be.
I think there is kind of seems to be a plan in place of doing the upgrading the lower level loot that has a scroll seal shard mechanic, and then so that they can then kind of fix the scroll seal shard mechanic. I think that's kind of where they've implied that the roadmap is kind of going on with regards to that. So that would be nice.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, right. I don't think
to echo some of the,
I don't think anyone would cry if scroll seals and shards went away.
To echo what some of the others have said, I am impressed with the energy and effort we're seeing out of Standing Stone Games. And it was about a year ago, I remember having conversations with people and saying, like, if Turbine was still at the helm, it doesn't feel like it would have been any different at this point. But now it does. Now I feel like it really feels like it's Standing Stone's Games deal now, and that I feel like things were better this year than they would have been if it was in the old hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if they're just I love the ambition in our current group, and even if they can't tackle it all in one update, I still, we might get frustrated by something, might not be how we thought it might be in the start. They're very able to patch that out or fix it, get things in, and I'm just so happy that we are getting, like you guys said, these updates and these parts that they don't have to do. They've said in the past, like, we're not concerned with old update old content, but they clearly are now, and they know, they listen to the community, that the community wants that content, recognizes that part of their game, and they do too. So I do appreciate it, and all the devs work. So
the little all these little updates are so nice. A game this old,
little things,
Yeah.
Oh, like Blacklock.
still feels-
Blacklock was huge.
Oh yeah, that was a great update.
Well, all right then. Thanks everyone for listening to us. Thanks to my guests, Arcot and Terralyn and Nimvind, Voodoo and Hephaestus, for joining me to record all this stuff today. this will conclude our 2018 in review. So we'll have a new topic for the next show. If you'd like to support the show, you can visit our website, DDOCast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. You can also find show notes, past shows, and more on our website. You can also find us on social media and follow us for latest cast updates at DDOCast on Twitter, the best place. If you'd like to join the discussion, you can leave a comment or email us, ddocast@gmail.com. Don't want to forget to mention High Lords and Malkirs teaching raids. Check the Sarlona forums for details for whatever this week's raids are. And that'll probably take you through what? April, May?
That will go through like up to the beginning of June.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Because you do like 2 circuits, don't you? Or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can check out where can they catch that live and recorded?
We will be live streaming all of our teaching raids on Twitch channel Voodoo Spice. And you can find details for, if you're on Sarlona and you want to join us, if you want to learn more about raiding, if you're new to raids, I post details for every week's teaching raid in the Sarlona forum.
All right. So, until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your chest level appropriate, have fun, and don't forget to gather for bus.